A wife took her husband for a 50th birthday meal, then two men approached and he broke down in tears. When Jeff Grimm was approaching his 50th birthday, his wife Melanie decided to give him a surprise that he'd never forget. Despite the difficulty of Melanie's plan, moreover, she managed to pull off her amazing feat, and Jeff simply couldn't stop the tears from falling when he finally realized what his other half had done for him. What's more, the Grimm story recently went viral after Melanie uploaded a heart-wrenching video to the internet that featured Jeff's reaction to her surprise. That clip captured events that had taken place in September of 2017 when the couple had gone out for a celebratory meal with a twist. At the time, Jeff's 50th birthday was just around the corner. Melanie therefore had decided to treat the father of three to a celebratory lunch in Pewee Valley, Kentucky. And as the two of them sat at the restaurant, Melanie began filming her husband. At this point though, Jeff had no idea why she wanted to record him. The truth, in fact, was that this was not going to be any ordinary meal out. Melanie had been busy planning a huge surprise for her husband, and it was nearly time for the big reveal. Before that happened, however, Melanie needed to keep Jeff distracted for a little while longer. So with her husband sitting across from her, Melanie asked Jeff if there was a donut shop nearby, before making some small talk about the miserable weather that day. But then Jeff glanced to his left and spotted something, or rather someone, out of the corner of his eye. Then after witnessing what he had, Jeff's mouth fell wide open. The video also shows him looking back at his wife and then back across the room. Whatever he had seen in the restaurant had completely stopped him in his tracks and left the 49-year-old man speechless. The camera subsequently pans around to reveal what Jeff had witnessed on the other side of the room. Walking towards the couple's table are two young men dressed in military uniform. But they aren't strangers by any means. The two men are in fact Jeff and Melanie's sons. And as the boys approach him, Jeff is seemingly trying his best to stifle his emotions. He's recorded looking down at the table in front of him, apparently concentrating hard on stopping the tears from rolling down his face. The moment is clearly an incredibly touching one for the dad. And the reunion was made even more emotional because Jeff hadn't seen his sons together for nearly 2 years. Dane, 26, who's in the Marines, had been shipped off for various deployments. Meanwhile, his younger brother, Drew, age 22, had been sent to Italy to serve in the US Air Force. So, seeing the two of them unexpectedly stroll into the restaurant together may have been a truly remarkable moment for the proud dad. And by the time Dane and Drew reach their parents' table, Jeff is already on the verge of breaking down. Then, his wife reveals all. "Your sons are home! Happy birthday!" she says, now with her own voice cracking. And upon hearing those words, Jeff gets to his feet and faces his boys. Then he throws his arms around both of them, at the same time giving them a well overdue hug. And the embrace is long and heartfelt, ending with Jeff wiping tears from his eyes. It apparently meant a lot to the dad to have his two sons home safe and well, and in time for his 50th birthday too. The only person who was missing from the get-together then was the couple's third child, daughter Shelby. And later that day there was another surprise for Jeff when Shelby also walked through the door to complete the reunion. My daughter couldn't make it back in time for the meal, but a few hours later we surprised him again with Shelby's own little homecoming. Melanie subsequently told website StoryTrender. I couldn't be prouder of my family, so to be all back together again for Jeff's birthday felt very special indeed, she continued. But it didn't all happen by accident, of course. Indeed, the big surprise actually took a few weeks of hard work on the part of Jeff's wife. Melanie knew that it would mean the world to her husband if she was able to get everyone together for his 50th birthday. But given that her two sons were off serving their country, she knew that logistically it would be difficult for them to make it. Luckily though, both sons had permission to come home, and the plan began to take shape. Then the night before the big reunion, Melanie had to pick up one of her sons, Drew, and somehow hide him in the house until the following day. No mean feat in itself. In fact, Drew had to sleep in his sister's empty bedroom and stay quiet as a mouse so that his dad wouldn't hear him. Although Jeff had no reason to go in there, we knew that a sneeze or even too much noise could wake him and ruin the whole surprise, Melanie explained to StoryTrender. Melanie also recalled feeling incredibly nervous when she and her husband arrived at the restaurant. Indeed, she even revealed to StoryTrender that she was physically shaking ahead of her son's impending arrival. Thankfully though, the plan went as smoothly as possible. And while speaking about her family's poignant reunion, Melanie added to the website, "I couldn't have got a better reaction out of Jeff even if I tried it 100 times over. He's not usually the emotional kind, but he couldn't help but cry when he saw his boys." Considering that just a matter of days earlier, Jeff had even said that he'd be delighted to have all his kids home for his birthday, Melanie absolutely nailed his birthday surprise. And it'll be a happy memory that they can all relive by rewatching the emotional video footage.